cash on the sidelines. I'll wait as long as it may take.
Good morning, Outliers. It's great to see everybody here. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a great day. I know it's been a super challenging week in the markets, and so I want to help you out in any way that I possibly can. Right now, we are in sit and cash and don't F up mode. We're on the cash on the sidelines mode, like the song was suggesting. So why don't I put this right here to make sure it's always in shot, right? Anytime the sit and cash is on, we need to have that going. We also have Senior Bluto, who sent this to me. Let's light up the sit and cash sign. Hang on, let's put it in green because it is active right now. I'll put it down here. Hopefully I don't break it. Hopefully I don't break it. Just to remind you to sit in cash and don't F up your portfolio. The market is trending down. It is a fact. It is a mathematical. I don't have to prove jack because the market is telling you exactly. I don't have to cover my backside whatsoever because the market is telling you exactly where it's going. The direction can be seen, but the magnitude and duration are hard to come by. Now, today is Ask Me Anything Friday. This is my court-appointed community service. I'm just joking. I love this. But because it's court-appointed community service, I need your help. In the chat down below, how can I help you out, right? Maybe you had some questions from like Lex yesterday. Lex, that was a intense OVTLYR University class, and I love smart people. You absolutely know that I love smart people. Lex is a very smart person, and man, it was great to learn from him. There are two things that he talked about that I instantly were like, you know what, maybe I should start looking at this in my rule set. One of them was talking about looking at liquidity from 25 delta to 25 delta. There were several questions on that, so I want to answer what that meant. Because it took me a minute and I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. Okay. But also the bid and ask spread. I used to always have, let me rephrase that. I still have a fixed 50-cent width. I thought was an appropriate width between the bid and ask spread to be the absolute max. However, Lex was saying maybe up to 10% on that width and shoot for the mid price. He also said, always do limit orders. Now, that's exactly what I've been saying for options, but he's saying even with stock, there is a market risk that you're taking by doing a market order. So the choice is either know the price you're going to get filled or an infinity number, right? Who knows where it could get filled at? And I think that's a very valid point. So from this moment forward, you're never going to see me do another market order, even when we're doing SGov, even when we're doing SPXL, right? I might penny it up a couple cents or two just to make sure I get filled, but then there's zero chance that anything can ever go against me. And that's the whole point, right? Reducing risk. So I'm super glad everybody's here. Let me see from the questions that have already come through, if there's any way that I can use them as a hook. Is there, this is actually a great question because I don't know the answer. I don't know if Joe's here. I don't know if Joe's awake. Is there chart training with Joe and DT this morning? I don't know. Let me pull up my StreamYard over here. Let's see if that's on the schedule. Set up your charts like a pro. There is at 10 a.m. Central Time. Today? Well, how about that? I didn't even know about that. Yeah, y'all go and make sure you watch that video, how to set up your charts like a pro. I didn't even know this was happening. Great question. This is a good question. Is there one that has the least impact and could be read? That's a really, really great question. In fact, we back tested the mess out of that this summer. So I want to hang on to that one. Oh my good gravy. What's cooking, Michael? You wouldn't believe how much testing we did around that. I'm glad you're here, my friend, but man, did we do so much work around that. Can we make sure the buy and sell signals come one day earlier? Yes. In fact, that's what I was thinking as well. Let's make sure, hang on. Let me share my screen. In fact, yeah, I've been texting with Mark this exact thing to make sure that before the market comes out on the candle for that day, right? Before that candle actually comes out, let's make sure that we know exactly where that candle is going to be. In fact, this would have worked really well, like on the silver trade the other day, right? If we had known, like, of course we'd know ahead of time that it was going to have that 30% sell. Of course we would do. Of course we'd know that, right? Of course we'd know that. So we should have had the sell signal for all of our trades come on this candle, not after this candle. I mean, what, dude, I'm so glad you realized that. Thank you, Mr. Day Old Trader. I know you're joking as well, and I'm joking right back at you. Of course, we should have known that. We should have known that. So yeah, we definitely need to make sure that we post the signals one day earlier, because we have the Nancy Pelosi plan. I don't know if you guys know this. We have the Nancy Pelosi plan in our back end. We don't tell you guys about that. The Nancy Pelosi plan is really cool. It actually, all this stuff that's hidden on the right hand side of the chart, it unveils ahead of time, right? There's all the candles are already printed for the future, so we can actually see what's going on before anybody else. Yes, exactly. Okay, I like it. Good question. Just for jokes. I do want to make sure that I have as many answers as I can. Is there a strategy to defend a long call that's gone bad? Okay, I see some really, really great questions. Good, great. Of course, if you have questions, the way that we see them, and this is really important, is to put #Q in the chat. Birdie, our new editor, is here. Everybody say hi to Birdie. Berty. Everybody say hi to Birdie. He's our new editor. He started on Monday. He's been killing it this week. In fact, he and I were texting just yesterday. I'm like, man, I'm so glad you're here. And I was like, Birdie, what was your job before this? And he's like, oh, I was doing like super comprehensive real estate video editing. And I'm like, oh, and then you come to this. This must be like the easiest job ever, because all we do basically is clip off the beginning, clip off the end, run the middle as it is. The issue is turnarounds, right? We go fast, and that is the real hard part of this job, is how fast we go. So yeah, everybody's saying hi to Birdie. Birdie, would you mind turning on your microphone and just saying hi to everybody? You don't have to do a camera or anything, but at least just turn on your mic to say hi. He's got his mic disabled. Giving him another minute here. So yeah, Rudes is now working a different shift to help us out. And Birdie's taking over this shift. Birdie, everybody's saying hi to you, dude. You see it, right? You got to make sure that you say hi back. Okay. Oh, private chat. He hasn't set it up. What the heck, Birdie? He doesn't have it. Okay, sorry. Birdie does not have it set up. Jeez, I trusted you. There's Kostya. What's up, dude? I trusted you, Birdie. That's okay. We'll get it set up for next time. But yeah, he's been killing it this week. Absolutely top notch. So let me. All right, what's a decent hook? Y'all throw some hook ideas out there. I don't see a question. Shut up, talking to imaginary friends. No, actually, he's the one making sure we got all the #Qs saved. Did we have a current Tradier promo code? The promo code is this. Trade.tradier. Wait a minute. Birdie just showed up again. Wait a minute. Birdie, you there?
For the greetings.
Okay, you there?
Yeah.
Dude, he's here. I told y'all. Not imaginary friends. Get your own imaginary friends. Birdie, thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate you. Just want to make sure everybody got a chance to say hi to you. You're killing it, dude.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Have a good day.
All right, Birdie, get out of here. Get out of here. Run the show in the background, my friend. You're a kid. He is real. He is real. Okay. Let me. All right, give me some hook ideas, please. Give me some hook ideas. Good morning to you, Mr. Summit. Mr. Summit. I'm gonna mess up the rest of that, but I want to make sure I say good morning to you. Bird is the word. Some hook idea. Ooh, crypto crash. I like that. Is the crypto crash dragging the market down? That's a great idea. Okay. People love their crypto, except for me. I don't care about crypto. I only care about the stuff I trade. Let's do that. And then on the left-hand side, let's put BTC 1 exclamation. I like Bitcoin futures. I'm sure you could use anything else. But I like the futures markets. And then let's go to SPY on the right hand side. So on the left is Bitcoin, on the right is SPY. And let's do this. And let's hit the hook and let's do this thing. Bitcoin is crashing, crypto is crashing, and now the market is starting to crash. This is a really tough market to trade in. So is there any sort of correlation between Bitcoin crashing and the S&P crashing? Let's take a look at it real quick. So first, what I see right here is Bitcoin has been in a downtrend for a hot minute. On the left-hand side is Bitcoin. On the right-hand side is the S&P 500. Bitcoin has actually been trending down since October. Now, how do we determine a trend? A trend is actually super duper easy. It is the 10 EMA, 20 EMA, and 50 EMA. Those three lines, right? In fact, we watched a video the other day where the guy was talking about how the market popped up and then hammer, and then it jumped up and started a bull flag pattern and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, you mean it's in an uptrend? It actually can be that simple, right? It can be that simple. That's your short, your intermediate, and your long term. When the 10 is under the 20 and price is under the 50, mathematically speaking, I don't have to say any sort of YouTube disclaimer whatsoever. Mathematically speaking, that means price is moving down. It doesn't tell you duration and it doesn't tell you magnitude. It tells you direction. And that is what we've been seeing in Bitcoin since October. Come at me, crypto bros. I can't tell you anything other than what I see on the charts right here. Okay. Now it's been trending down for a hot minute. Now it does have a little bit of support down here, around $55 to $59 or 59,000, I should say. I'm not used to saying it in thousands. But yeah, it's got a little bit of support right there. And you can see it bottomed and has bounced right at that point. Tell me order blocks don't work. There is a huge amount of buyers ready to step in right there. Now, let's zoom out a little bit and let's look at the S&P 500. This is since October. It's actually been trending upwards. However, it's been really choppy as well, right? It actually, when was this? October 29th. Had basically been the peak before all this chop happened. We set a couple new all-time highs. That is true. I'm going to give you that. But we've really been chopping in the same area for months at this point. We're in February. So from October to February, been chopping sideways. And that makes a very frustrating market. So if you're looking at your account and you're like, why am I not up 50%, right? It's because the market is not up 50%. The market's literally flat. The market is actually down since October of last year. Markets are crashing to levels not seen in a couple months. Your portfolio may be feeling that impact as well. What I want to do too is talk about some of the big names out there, right? Talk about some of these huge names like Palantir, right? This is ugly, nasty, horrible, no good, and very bad, all wrapped up together. And yet it's been trending down for a minute. You've been able to see this for a minute once you understand the trend template. What about SoFi? Oh my good gravy. I looked at SoFi yesterday and I was like, I didn't realize SoFi was in absolute free fall. Come at me, SoFi bros. You're in a stage 4 downtrend right now. You are in a stage 4 downtrend right now, SoFi bros. No amount of hoping, wishing, praying, or YouTube videos that you put out can stop a stage 4 downtrend. What does that look like? Let me find the slide so I can show you what that looks like. Load, come on, faster. Here we go. Stage 1 is your consolidation. Stage 2 is the big, beautiful uptrend. Stage 3 is when the moving averages start crossing over. Stage 4 is where SoFi is today, right? Stage 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me that's not the market cycle. SoFi bros are waking up this morning. They're having all the anxiety, denial, and panic. And of course they would, because they don't understand how the markets actually work. How you can use the trend template, like I'm showing you, to run it up like that, and then get the mess out of the way before it turns against you. In fact, you can make this even easier. Oh, everything that I cover has a sell signal. Actually, I have SoFi saved as a favorite just to mock the SoFi bros. Hang on. Go back to my watch list over here. I go back to my watch list, you'll see SoFi right there. And yes, I do it specifically to mock the SoFi bros and their extreme unbridled passion for the stock. Yeah, it's had a sell signal on the stock since December 9th. Now, if you had got your head out of your backside and actually listened to somebody who's been trading for 17 years, who knows what he's talking about, he's made at least $4 in the market, you would have been able to keep how much of your portfolio? 30%, give or take. 30% of your portfolio evaporated because you were too stubborn to listen to the information that I have been giving you for months, weeks, and going on years at this point. Pull your head out of your backside and listen to what is available for you. In fact, one of my mentors, Mark Minervini, probably one of the greatest traders of all time, he's actually going to be here. I'm so stoked about it. On my birthday, he's going to be here, which makes it even more fun. On February 19th, Mark Minervini will be here discussing what it's like to be a champion trader. And I remember specifically working with him one time, and he said, there were two things that he said that felt like slaps in the face. He said, Chris, you need to shut up and listen to somebody who's actually made money in the market. A lot of you SoFi bros need to do exactly that. You need to shut up and listen to somebody who's actually made money in the market. I don't care what the stock is doing. All stocks are bad, but it's the future of finance. Sure, that's fine. It can be the future of finance, but the price right now is not going to get you paid. In fact, 30% of your portfolio just got evaporated because you didn't want to listen and you stuck your head in the sand. And now you're just watching daily as it continues to go down. The other thing that he told me is this is why your trades suck. This is why your trades suck, right? This right here, my friends, is why your trades suck. You've got the data. You've got the charts. You hopefully have OVTLYR. It's only 82 cents a day. And you would have been able to save 30% of your account by just listening to what a random guy on the internet has to say, right? My secret agenda, oh no, Chris has a secret agenda here, is to make you successful. And once you're successful, you'll get it and you'll be like, oh, okay, maybe I should be an outlier. And it's 82 cents a day. That's my whole secret agenda, okay? Let's make you successful. Like Timothy over here, who's a new member. Good to see you, Tim. Glad you made it. Me and my wife really appreciate this channel and the knowledge. Thanks, Tim. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do me a favor and subscribe already. This is Ask Me Anything Friday. I hope you all have questions ready to be asked. That's right. And be sure it starts with the hashtag Q. Look at Sheetal. Sheetal's running the show over here. Chris Chains says you should smash that like button, but you only get green candles, boy. So Chris Chains is my alter ego. He is the epitome of the mostest fakest guru on YouTube, and of course, just buy the dip. It always goes back up, right? Okay, great question coming here from Chiapolis. Says, is there a strategy to defend a long call that's gone bad and into the money, i.e., I guess you mean out of the money on SLV? Because, for example, like if you bought a call and SLV is moving up, so let's talk about the theory behind what he's asking. So in SLV, oh my goodness gravy, what a crazy move in silver, both directions. All right, if you bought a long call, the objective here, let's go to SLV. By the way, not only have I made money in the market, but I am competing in the US Investing Championship this year. And you can follow along with every single, there we go. Every single trade that I put on is listed down below in a Google Sheets file, as well as my entire trading plan that I'm using in the US Investing Championship is linked down below. Excuse me. So looking at this, right? If you bought a long call anywhere, the objective here is to get it in the money, right? We want it to go in the money. That's where you get the intrinsic value. That's where you really can explode your profits here. So I think there might have been a typo here, and I get it, typing on a little phone, things like that happen. But let's say that it's gone bad and it's out of the money, right? So he was doing great, and then things happen and it fell out of the money. That super sucks. That, my friend, is why we roll options. That's why we roll options. Now, what does rolling an option mean? That means moving from one strike to the next, moving up the options chain as the trades are working for you. By doing so, you're taking in a credit. Remember, for the original trade, let's say you paid $5 originally for the call. And let's say the first time you roll, you take in $2.50 in credit. Okay, so you've rolled strikes, right? So it was $5 when you started. Now you took in $2.50 in credit, which means you have 50% of your risk is gone, it's evaporated. Your risk is evaporated. You know what happened? Those $250 are now back in your account. Woohoo! Now we're talking, right? We just booked partial profits as this trade is on. We reduced the risk by 50%, and it's still going. We can still participate in the trade that's moving. And let's say you roll it again for another $250. You have no risk in the trade. No risk whatsoever, period, full stop. SLV could go to zero and you have no risk. That's pretty cool, right? But imagine you roll it for a third time for $250. Oh, sorry, plus $250. Now you've banked $250, and maybe you roll it again for another $250. Now you banked $500. That is guaranteed profits, right? Every time you roll, you're taking off risk. You're moving You're reducing your risk, you're taking those partial profits, and you're keeping the trade on. The best example I can give you is what happened to us a couple weeks ago, right? Now, granted, my trades definitely pulled back because of freaking silver having a once in a ever move. But if we come down, this is what's linked down below as well. If we go to the, which tab is this? Rolling calculator. I actually want to share what happened, right? So these were the trades that I had put on originally. And had I not made any moves whatsoever, on average, the average loss, because all of them would have lost, would have been a 22% loss, which sucks. Now, because I rolled them, and by the time I closed them, I had 18% profits. This one ended up with still a loss, but half the size of the loss, more than half, I should say less than half of the loss as the original trade, which is really great. This one, a 38% win. And then this one, a 4% win rather than a loss. So my average gain was 11% versus my average loss being 22%. Pretty cool, right? And some of these I even made risk-free. So there is a full video on exactly how we did this. So click the link below. That'll take you to this sheet. Go to the tab called Rolling Calculator and then go to this video right here where I talked about how I hacked profits out of the silver crash, right? Definitely want to help you out because that's exactly how to solve that question right there. All right, I took a long time on that question. Let me see how many I can get through. What's up, Michael Cookin? Ideally, all 9 elements of the OVTLYR 9 would be green when taking a trade, but is there one that has the least impact and could be red? Okay, fantastic question. So up here on every stock inside of OVTLYR, we have what's called the OVTLYR 9. Now, 40% of the market's move is due, your stock's move is due to the market, 40%. 30% is due to the sector. The last 30% do the stock. We call it the 40-30-30 rule, right? 30% the stock, 30% the sector, 40% the market. Now, the question here is, ideally, all 9 should be green, but is there any one that has the least impact? It's funny because it depends on who you ask and when you ask. And what I mean by that is there was a point in time where the market had a sell signal, but there were some sectors that were popping like crazy. So the people in those sectors would be like, obviously, you don't need the market to have a buy signal. It can still be on a sell signal if the sector's going crazy. Maybe that's the case, right? Or maybe you found somebody who said, it doesn't matter if the fear and greed is going down. It still works out, right? I don't know. The reason that I say it matters who you ask, when you ask, is because these are our users who are experiencing it in different ways. Now, from backtesting, right, coming up with a actual trading plan that is not, trust me, bro, but everything is data-based, right? What we found was that the best scenario, the most reliable scenario, that doesn't mean you're going to win every time. Just understand, this does not mean you're going to win every time. In fact, our backtest came with a 56.7% win rate. Still, positive expectancy here. The best scenario was actually when all 9 were green. Now, I get it because that takes time. There's lots of time in between when all 9 are green and when it's not. You know what you do the rest of the time? What does SICAFU mean? Sit in cash and don't F up your portfolio. That's exactly what it means. Now, could you go short? By all means. But we don't teach shorting around here. We teach going long, and when there's nothing to do, get out of the way. And I like to buy SGov, which I only learned about last May. Had I learned about it 17 years ago when I first started trading, I would have another 0 on my account for sure. But SGov pays right now at least around 4.3 APY, which is basically half of the market return over the course of a year for a risk-free cash position. So keep that in mind as you're trading. Does the plan ETF backtest include or exclude the 34% of the time your plan M? So plan ETF is one of our plans. Plan M is another plan. Now, they work together, right? But there's no way, and there is no possible way that we could have measured this because there are 9,000 stocks in OVTLYR. If any one of them would have been taken and got you out of plan ETF over to plan M. Plan ETF backtest uses the all the time, right? What happens when you exclude plan M periods? Well, that's going to be really hard to tell because there are so many different stocks. It's almost going to be impossible to know that. But the plan ETF is there when things aren't working. Now, I have actually seen a lot of naysayers on plan ETF, And I got to get you guys to understand, right? Every trading plan every trading plan, except for Chris Change's trading plan, because he never loses. Every trading plan is going to have winners because that is a unavoidable circumstance of trading. And a completely unavoidable circumstance of trading is winning. Losing is also an unavoidable circumstance of trading. It is a fact, right? Now, I get it that people have been frustrated with this, and you've been frustrated because the only times we've enacted Plan ETF has been during this market chop right here. Those are the only times it's been inactive since it was even created. Okay. What happened before that? All of 2025, it went up. Plan ETF was created. We started implementing it. And yeah, I understand why you've been frustrated with Plan ETF, but understand as well, the market hasn't been in a big, beautiful uptrend. It's been in a frustrating, choppy side trend. Okay. There you go. Hey, look at Goody. Goody, stop sending me super chats, dude. Seriously. I finally understand trading thanks to Chris. I understand how great Goody is. And Goody, I really appreciate you, my dude. But keep your money, man. The best way that you can pay me back is by telling everybody you know about OVTLYR. That is how you can pay me back the most, my friend. Do I prefer TQ or SPXL when both have buy signals? Okay, great question. So the answer to that is I will take either, whichever comes up first. And then I'm going to stick in it until I get an exit signal. Now, that's a fantastic question because in Plan ETF, you could go with either one of those. Plan ETF, link down below, you could go with either one. Most likely, they don't set up on the same day. If they do, I might go 50-50, or I might go all TQ because historically speaking, TQ actually has a higher expectancy. But the likelihood of them both setting up on the same day is very low. So I guess my answer would be if I had to pick one, if they both set up on the same day, I'd go with TQ. But that's just me. I know I definitely either one of them would be a great place to be. There's Rick, one of our Bravo students who's about to be a Bravo graduate. Does Plan ETF stand for every trade flies? That would be great, right? Now, if you ask our Discord, every trade fails. And it's not only is it every trade fails, but it's OVTLYR's fault that the market's been choppy, right? It's Chris's fault that the market's been choppy. And because of that, Plan ETF is such a hack job, right? Forget the, hang on, where's it at? Forget the back test that shows 1,140% gain over 5 years, right? That's totally made up, right? This must have been made by Chris Chains. He went on here and he got a red crayon and he's like, oh, let's go up, baby, all the way to the moon. All the way to the moon, right? But the weird thing about this is that, let me change to a blue color. The weird thing about this is even with an 1,140% back test, there are periods of drawdown. 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 Do I have to keep repeating myself? There are periods of drawdown. There are periods of drawdown. There are still more periods of drawdown. Oh, wait, there's a couple more periods of drawdown and one right there and a tiny one right there and one right there. Oh, there actually was one right there as well. This is the reality of trading, people. If you're not okay with the fact that winning is an unavoidable consequence of trading, just as much as losing is an unavoidable consequence of trading, you probably shouldn't be trading. Just plain and simple. If you can't accept that, you shouldn't be trading. Yeah, don't do this, please. I don't want your super chats. And listen, it's really sweet that you would even think of doing that. But seriously, send your super chats into something else. Birdie, what are you doing here? Get out of here, Birdie. You trying to make this the Birdie show? What are you doing? I'm just like, is everything cool? Do you need to tell me something? We're good? And he's gone. I think Birdie's drinking on the job. How could he do that to me? Monty, good to see you, Monty. Monty, a fellow ready. Would you consider changing your trading time to be 1 hour before the market closes after listening to Lex yesterday? So right now, that is when I trade, is in the last hour of the day. The reason I trade in the last hour of the day is for liquidity, right? The most liquidity comes at the last hour of the day. The first 30 minutes for sure, but the first 30 minutes is so volatile. It's trying to figure out where everybody's going to go during the day. At the end of the day, this is going to tell you where it lands. Birdie said, sorry, I'm super drunk and I misclicked. No, I'm joking. Birdie's good. So yeah, I trade at the last hour of the day, and you don't have to, but I don't know if it's a great story, but I have a story to help reiterate that point. There was once a time when I was doing my consulting. Now, I did consulting with financial institutions for 12 years. That was my most recent job before becoming chief marketing officer at OVTLYR. And there was one day when I put on a trade, probably around 9:30 a.m. Central Time in the morning. I go to the gym and I set my alert at my stop loss level. And I'll never forget, I'm in the middle of doing tricep extensions, looking in the mirror, and I'm like, yeah, what's up? And I get an alert on my phone and it says, hey, your stop loss is hit. And I was like, are you serious? Come on. And so it's like the trade that I had planned on being in for weeks was gone within an hour because of stupid moves intraday. And I don't remember what happened after that because I closed it, but it completely invalidated my trading plan, just annoyed the mess out of me. It just annoyed the mess out of me. Birdie has the power. He does. Stop picking on the new guy. No. Birdie's cool. He gets it. There are some good videos on silver in Discord. Have you been able to watch them? Here's the thing. I have so much else that I do in a day. I appreciate you guys running through the Discord, but Discord's not where I hang out, right? And I don't mean that in any sort of like I have way better things to do than hang out in Discord, but it's the truth, right? I know a lot of chatter goes on in Discord and I don't see everything, and that's okay, right? The Discord is there for you guys to help each other be successful. So the short answer is no, I haven't seen any of them. How do you handle earnings in a strong stage 2 uptrend? Exit and then re-enter. So great question. I think that's Graham. Graham, what happened to your username, my friend? So in our back tests, in order to create plan M, earnings is an exit signal. Even if it's in a big, beautiful stage 2 uptrend, even if it's in a big, beautiful, I'm trying to find the slide for it for stage 2 uptrend. Here, even if it's in this big, beautiful stage 2 uptrend, you're introducing an element of risk that is not worth trading around. Let's talk about a couple examples like AMD, right? AMD got monkey hammered. AMD was in an uptrend. I wouldn't call it a stage 2 uptrend, but it was in an uptrend. And from top to bottom of this, from earnings, it went down 20%. Let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft was already trending down before it got monkey hammered, but still, this was a, let's call it 10% down move from earnings. Palantir, already in a downtrend, but earnings happened and then it went down 12%. PayPal, already in a downtrend, and then earnings happened and it went down 20%. Where I'm going with that is, doesn't matter to me if it's an uptrend or downtrend. This can happen either way. And because of that, that's an element of risk that we can avoid. We can choose to take that risk or not. I equate it to like walking in a casino, putting it all in black and saying, all right, let's do this thing, right? It's just not for me. But granted, it could be for you. That's okay. Morgie says, I'm wondering if we should look into volume to know how strong the blocks are, not just how old. That can absolutely be something that you look at. And when we did all of our back testing, what we found was the age of the block mattered. I don't know if we had the detail in order to see the volume of the block, but what we found is that a short-term order block, let's see if we can find one real quick. I would love to use an example. The further back it goes, the more likely you have trapped buyers who will eagerly sell the mess out of it as soon as they get any chance to. And tell me order blocks don't work. Tell me on AMD. AMD. Yeah, tell me order blocks don't work. They got absolutely crushed when it ran into that order block right there. But Amazon down 9% after earnings. Oh, there they are. Even a shorter term order block provided resistance. Let's see. There you go. Stage 2 uptrend. Hadn't seen one of those in a minute. Celsius, trying to find a short-term order block that really didn't matter. A lot of stocks have been like absolutely killed lately. What about silver? Yeah, there you go. Short-term order block created in silver right here, right? So on December 26th, the day after Christmas, everybody's still hungover and still unwrapping the last couple presents they didn't get to yet. Silver created this order block. There were some trapped buyers as silver came crashing all the way down. All the way down. Well, silver went down 10% right then. Can you believe that? I didn't realize that. So silver crashed about 10% at that point. Yet these people, I mean, this is December 31st, right? They're still in their jammies. They haven't showered in several days after Christmas. And then the price of silver comes back up. So they're not even worried about it, right? That's what a short-term order block represents, is people who really aren't stressed, and it continues to go. It continues to go. Now, a longer-term order block, like on SoFi, the greatest stock in the history of mankind, you can see this area right here. Receipts are on YouTube, by the way. I was screaming to anybody who would listen, which was not very many at the time in January 2025. Do not buy SoFi right here. It was crashing up into this order block that was created in November 2021. The very first time SoFi came up to this area, November 2021, what happened? It fell by 50-something percent. Fell by, right, 53%. Now, you'll see a couple months later, it recovered. This is July. So actually, let me rephrase that. It took from January to July to recover that 50%. So it took it 6 months to recover. Then the buyers overwhelmed all the sellers who were ready to get out here, and that helped push that trend up higher, right? So great example of order blocks. Now you can get your charts to look exactly the same as mine. Just go into our Discord after you become a OVTLYR member. There's a little Discord button down on the bottom right-hand side of OVTLYR down here, and you'll be in here. Now in the FAQ and member contributions, scroll to Trading View. Once you're in Trading View, get the deep thought indicator as well as the value zone indicator, and then your charts can be set up and look exactly identical to mine for free. Have you made updates to the PowerPoint? I always make updates to the PowerPoint, and here's what's really cool about that. Link down below is my trading plan for the whole year. Yeah, for the entirety of the year, it will be linked down there, and we may like roll it over to a new one next year. We'll see. Point is, it's linked down below. Any updates I make are automatic. You don't need a new link, and it'll always be there. It'll always be there. There was a question about order value zone. I want to, since we talked about value zone, let me see if I can get to real quick. Hold tight. Let me keep going. I'm sorry. I should have had this ready to go, because there it is. I'd rather be skiing says, can you show us the Keltner settings for the value zone? Trying to set up on a different platform. All right. It's very not difficult. It's a very not difficult. So the Keltner channels are a indicator that you can add onto any chart. Okay. So what the Keltner channel does is it takes the ATR value, the average true range of the stock, and it plots it above whatever point in time you want to add, right? So here's what's really cool. Down here at the bottom, I'm going to drop off, and I'm going to drop off chat for a minute as well. Down here at the bottom is the ATR indicator. This is average true range. This shows you the volatility of a stock. Now, you'll notice right here that the volatility contracted significantly. And so you'll notice right here, right, how far are these Keltner channels, this dark green line, how far is that from price? Pretty far. How far is it from price over here? Pretty close, actually, pretty close. So the Keltner channels are a indicator you can add on any stock trading platform. And so for the value zone, the way that it works, let me just turn off this one and turn on the value zone right here. It's 2 ATRs. Now, don't ask me how to fill it in green. I have no idea. That's people way smarter than me that figure that out. This is the value zone, okay? When it's inside the value zone, that is what you're looking for. We want to see those stocks inside the value zone. And the value zone is 2 ATRs above the 20 EMA. So if it's within that band right there, that is the value zone. That doesn't mean that it's going to last forever. That doesn't mean it's going to only go up from there. But that is what the value zone looks like. In fact, I have the wrong one. That's an old one. Let me delete that one, because this one is the one I was looking for. Once it reaches 3 ATRs above the 20 EMA, that is actually a sell signal on plain ETF. Has that happened in SoFi? I want to see an example of that. Yeah, a few times right here, right? It screamed out of the value zone and actually was riding on top up here. So this is not something I use in individual stocks, and you can see why, right? When it's in a big, beautiful uptrend on an individual stock, and you're like, oh, well, dropped out of the value zone, it went too high, that could actually come back to bite you in the backside. because you're losing out on all them gains. All them gains. Great question. Let's keep going. Oh man, I'm just talking too long on these. I'm just gonna do yes/no questions from now on. Okay. When rolling, is it better to move up or move out to be able to keep in the trade longer? Yes. Moving on. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. It depends. Right. So for me, one of my rules, and let me share my screen. One of my rules is once I get to 7 days to expiration. So this expires next Friday. Once I get to 7 days to expiration, I'm not going to hold it during the expiration week. That is when gamma radiation starts running out of control. Gamma radiation basically is where there's a chance that your investment can go from, I don't know, whatever it's caught, right? Let's say your investment can go from 650, and let's say that SLV falls by a couple bucks, right? So your investment may be worth 650, and in the last week it takes a violent turn, and don't tell me it can't happen. Don't tell me it can't happen. And what your investment ends up at expiration is,
it's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
you get nothing, literally nothing. All the value of it is gone. Okay. So here's a pro tip. I got to use my buttons. There's a pro tip. In the last week of expiration, I will look to roll out. If I can't roll out, then I close the trade. In fact, I don't just make this up. I have slides to go along with this, right? So 1 week before expiration, is it already profitable? Either yes or no, right? Yes. Can I roll out for a credit? Has to be for a credit. If you're rolling for a debit, you've done it wrong. You're taking additional risk. If you can't roll it out for a credit, which happened to me, I guess it was last week, then no, you got to close it. And it sucks, but that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Or at least that's what I do. If you can, then you can roll it out. So the answer is, if I'm outside of 2 weeks, I'll stay in the same expiration. If I'm getting closer to the 1 week before, I'll look to roll out. Like if I was 11 days out, I don't want to hold it from Wednesday to Friday and then have to roll it again on Friday. I'll just look to roll out in time. If plan ETF is a defensive position, should all cash be invested? Seems very volatile. When's the last time that you, and trust me, I've heard this argument brought up 1,000 times. You're not the first person to ask that question. It is meant to be a play in the market when nothing else is there, right? When nothing else sets up in plan M, plan ETF is there to give you additional gains. And we showed the back test on that earlier. Now, does it mean every trade is going to win? No. But when's the last time you called up your financial advisor in the mutual fund or the 401k that you're in, and you're like, hey, listen, if the market's sideways, do me a favor, take everything out? Probably never, right? So think of it this way. Anytime that you have a company sponsor 401k, something like that, you don't get a say in the market. You have to ride the entirety of your balance the entire way up or the entire way down. You have zero control of it. With Plan ETF, you get to take your entire account if you want, and you don't have to, and nobody's making you do it. And you can run it up with the market or get out of the way if the market turns against you. But there are times the market is choppy. So I've heard the argument a million times over. First off, you don't have to trade it. You can do whatever you want, right? The back tests are there to prove that, yeah, it works like gangbusters, but only if you work the plan, right? And then if you choose not to, or let's say you put it on, and you're like, oh, this is great. And then you're like, oh, never mind. Oh, this is great. Oh, never mind. You have to commit to a plan and then stick with the plan, right? If your plan was to have a company sponsor 401k, and you're like, in January, you're like, okay, I'm gonna put all my monies in the company sponsor 401k because that's what a good employee does. And then in March, you call whomever you got to call, HR or whatever, and you're like, I gotta get me out of it, right? And then in June, you're like, okay, I want to get back in, right? You're totally jacking up the whole process, right? You're completely jacking up the process. Larry Hite, one of my mentors, the first $1 billion hedge fund manager, he said that if you don't follow your plan to a T, taking the trades when they set up, you are obligated to take those trades. Taking the exit signals when they set up, because you are obligated to take those exit signals. You never had a plan to begin with. It didn't ever work, right? How far will it go down? Only time will tell. And that's the thing, right? We can't see magnitude and we can't see duration, but we can always see direction. We can always see direction. What's the current plan? You know what the current plan is. It's sitting over my shoulder here. The plan is to sit in cash and don't F up your portfolio, right? Now, again, the market could absolutely go back up for sure. In fact, the market's up today. Oh my gosh, I can't believe the market went up. It's all Outlyer's fault that the market went up yesterday after I sold. I get it. But understand, you as a trader are going to be on the wrong side of lots of moves. You as a trader are going to be on the right side of lots of moves. FOMO is real, right? The fear of missing out is super real. But one of my mentors, Mark Minervini, would say, if you're not managing risk and feeling like an idiot every once in a while, you're not doing it right. If you're not feeling like an idiot often, you're not managing risk, okay? Now remember, the point here is to get out of the way so you don't get stuck in a move like this. But most people won't sell. Like the SoFi bros, they're not selling. Of course not. They got the diamond hands. We're not selling diamond hands because we're scared it's going to do this without us. But what's actually happened is they're getting wrecked. What's actually happened is they're getting wrecked. I don't want you to get wrecked. How do you know where there are buyers at the bottom for support? I don't know. I understand what the top waiting to get out. This is the cold hard truth. If I knew where all the buyers were at the bottom, like right here, for example, I would just buy at the bottom and then get out at the top. That's my answer. It's not the best answer, but it's the truth. Let's see. Market assault. Dude, why do you gotta assault the market like that, right? What did it ever do to you? Just be cool, man. You should be like market, like gentle stroke. I don't know if I should say stroke on YouTube. Gentle caress. There you go. Gentle caress. Market assault. I'm new to the channel. Do you only do deep in the money calls? Yes. Puts? No. So OVTLYR is built as a long only platform. We'll eventually have sell signals, short signals, I should say. But as of right now, we don't have those. And for that, I don't stress about it, right? There's no worries, right? There's no FOMO because I'm going to be sitting in cash. And am I going to miss out on put buying on the way down? Sure, that's fine. But it's just not part of my trading plan, so I'm not going to mess with it, right? I'm not worried. How frequent does OVTLYR update? Does it account for market going up today? Dude, again, we have the Nancy Pelosi plan. I know it's a thing. Nobody else gets to have it except for Nancy Pelosi and the partners at OVTLYR, right? But we don't know what's going to happen until the market closes. So this candle right here is still in process. So even if SPY is up at 1.28% right now, okay? SPY's up 1.28% right now. What is it going to close at? I don't know. You don't know. Nancy Pelosi doesn't know. What we do know is what happened here. So it updates once a day overnight. And there's no possibility of seeing the future. In fact, I have a slide for this. I'm in the business of responding. Oh, here we go. Those who ask me where the market will be in a year or what level it'll bottom totally misunderstand what it takes to be a great trader. We are in the business of responding, not prediction. Telling the future is impossible and unnecessary. Trading is a now business. OVTLYR shows you where things are going, but it does not tell the future. It does not tell the future. Stimmel says, how accurate is open interest? Well, it has to be accurate, right? Think about it this way. I don't think brokers can display information that is inaccurate. In fact, I believe if they display it that's inaccurate, they're illegal. Now, granted, I could be 100% wrong, but I don't think they're allowed to display anything that's inaccurate. So I would imagine it's 100% accurate. As more people follow Plan M, will we be competing for option contracts if open interest is not super high? That was one of the questions that we posed to Lex yesterday in OVTLYR University is we've actually been able to see in real time. Like when I traded on my own, 250 was a great, nobody watched me on YouTube. 250 was a great spot to be in for, my own personal account. But now, instead of, let's say that I took 200 contracts of that, now there's 10,000 contracts going in, and that changes the game. So basically what Lex said yesterday is he wants to see open interest from the 25 delta. So meaning from the put side, 25 delta. So where's the 25 delta over here? From the 25 delta down to the call side of 25 delta, right? And so for this one, silver, February 20th, there's tons of open interest, right? There may be some here and there that have less, but looking across the board, there is so much liquidity. It does not matter where you go, you're going to get filled. So that is actually something that I'm looking at in my own personal trading plan is maybe I could change my liquidity rules a little bit. Maybe I could change my bid and ask spread a little bit. But that's how it goes, right? Is over time, you adapt to the different market conditions and you may have to change your plan here and there. Is Lex Luthor going to help you defeat Superman? Oh, I don't know. So here's the thing. I never understood why Batman was versus Superman. We're both good guys here, right? I'm Batman. Joe is Commissioner Gordon. Deep Thought is Deep Pockets, a supervillain as well. I need my Superman in my life. I don't know who's the Superman to my Batman, but Lex Luthor, we will always be enemies, right? He's hooked up with the Bane family. I know the Bane family watches. He's hooked up with them. Any update on a Discord replacement? As of right now, Discord is staying. Do order blocks work? You tell me. You know the answer. Let me see. So many questions still. Man, what time flies? I'm nearly out of time. What does OC status stand for in the dashboard? Okay, cool. It's a fantastic question. This actually came about as of last year. So looking at SoFi down here, outlier channels. OC means outlier channels. What are outlier channels? So let's go over to market breadth and we'll make it a little bit easier to see. This is something we found last year during our huge backtesting run, was that there are times when you go into market breadth, you'll see this. And it's also on every stocks page down here. You'll see at the bottom this chart, okay? What this chart is measuring is how many uptrends there are versus downtrends. When it's green, that means we're seeing more uptrends. When it's red, that means we're seeing less downtrends. That's actually a great thing. When it's grayed out, that's actually not a great thing, right? We're actually seeing less uptrends and more downtrends, right? Remember, long-only platform, so that's what we're looking for. So the outlier channels, what we found through extensive backtesting was that a 4-period look back, 4-period, showed us the best expectancy, meaning that over the last 4 candles, this was the high point. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then it wasn't broken. So it goes to the next candle, which is a little bit lower. That wasn't broken. Goes to the next candle, which was a little bit lower. That wasn't broken. Goes to the next candle, which is a little bit lower, right? And eventually it got to the point where it was down here. Then the purple line right here represents the top of the outlier channel. And you can see that it starts getting pushed up, right? So over the last 4 candles, this was the highest one. This was the highest one. This was the highest one, okay? That's what the outlier channels represent on the top and bottom. But the objective here is to show you when the market breadth is improving. Now, over here, this is showing you how many buy signals there are versus sell signals. And then the green line is showing you buy signals versus sell signals. The red line is actually the 10 EMA of that buy signal, sell signal line. I actually created this indicator. I'm very proud of it. It was because one way that I was actually having a lot of success early on in the early outlier days was I noticed when we were getting more buy signals on the bull list. This was an observation I made. When we had more buy signals coming through on the bull list, I actually did really a lot better. When we had more sell signals coming through over here, the buy signals tended to be less impactful. Okay. So you can see right here, that's what this represents. And so when I codified this and I put it inside of Outlier, and again, this is the one contribution I've made to Outlier that I'm really most proud of. It is awesome. It honestly works as a leading indicator on the entire market. Just check it out. You'll see it's like, wow, this is crazy. I didn't realize how much of a leading indicator it is. Now we take these two and we throw them together down here, right? So on every stock you see, it's a combination of these two down on the bottom like that. Does that make sense? Now, literally 82 cents a day is all it takes to get Outlier. Do you have a time target for having an Outlier design for selling the market? It's not today. That's my answer. Who is Chris James taking to win the super? So I don't do sports at all whatsoever. Chris James loves sports though. Chris James, the fake guru he is a huge Hawks fan. Oh my gosh, he loves the Seahawks. He couldn't tell you who a single player is on the team, but Seahawks. Yeah. There you go. That's who Chris is picking for the Super Bowl. Where did the itty bitty baby hands come from? These two hands, my friend, they are tiny. There's nothing I can do about it, right? That my genetic makeup gave me itty bitty baby hands. And it's so embarrassing when my dad's hands are way bigger. He has like sausage fingers compared to me. And whenever I shake people's hands, like Dave, when I met Dave a couple of weeks ago, one of our alpha students, his hand like dwarfed mine, like completely wrapped around mine. There's nothing I can do about it. I wear a size 9 ring. It's a itty bitty baby ring, right? There's nothing I can do about it. I got tiny hands. I got tiny hands and a tiny brain. I love smart people. Let's see. How do I make partner at OVTLYR? Well, how I made partner at OVTLYR was I worked with Mark and Mahesh. So long story, backstory here. I had my own company, 10minutestocktrader.com. And I basically was doing what I do now as 10minutestocktrader.com. If you ever see any of my handles that says 10-minute trading, that's where it came from. The way that came about was during my consulting days, the way that I would have to trade was from an iPad under my desk. And I was like, man, I only got 10 minutes a day to trade. So I would trade under my desk and that was it. So that's where I came up with the name 10-minute stock trader. Started that in 2017. I also started the How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast in 2019. By 2021, that podcast had peaked at number 7 in the investing podcast space, which absolutely blew my mind. Like, how are they even doing this, right? So then at some point, I think it was in 2023, Mark and Mahesh approached me about buying 10-minute stock trader and then me becoming part of the OVTLYR team. And I don't know, for a while, I didn't understand the OVTLYR platform. It needed to go through a lot of upgrades to the point where I was comfortable, number one, using it, and number two, being an investor in it. So they purchased 10-minute stock trader for an equity stake in OVTLYR, and that's how I became a partner. So Sylvia, the answer is create something awesome and then sell it to OVTLYR, and then you can be a partner too. What do you think about the ATM emergency exit? ATM. Don't know what that means. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. Hey Chris, greetings from Romania. What's up? I've been following you for quite some time already, and I find your approach very different and interesting. Outstanding. Hey, thank you, my friend. Be sure to share this with everybody you know. In this period, did you also suffer any losses? Actually, what's really cool is we are trading in the OVTLYR fund. This exact account is what I'm trading in the US Investing Championship. I finally got my my statement, so I'm going to be sending it to Dr. Norm Zada, who runs the competition, who will be here on February 17th, and we'll be interviewing him, so be sure you don't miss that. The account view came out to a slight gain on the month, a very slight gain on the month. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is a big disappointment. A huge disappointment. And it all stemmed from a once in a ever move, not once a month, not once a year, not once a decade, not once a generation, once in an ever move in silver. I don't think silver moved as much as it did in the last week as since Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. I think that's the last time we saw silver collapse as much as it did, right? No time did it ever happen like that, except 2,000 years ago. Now, unfortunately, that took a lot of our trades with it, but that's part of the game. And I am actually super stoked that I'm not down for the year. This is OVTLYR fund. This is partner money that we're trading right here. And so every single trade will be linked down below in the portfolio manager. You can actually see on the main portfolio tab, every trade that we put on. The blue ones were ones that we rolled. And you can literally see down to each one, how many contracts, how many days I held it, etc. Right? And then you come over here to the portfolio returns and you can see how they've all turned out. Now, I've only put on 2 plan ETF trades so far, and unfortunately, one won and one lost. So the expectancy actually shows a negative. But remember, expectancy is based on frequency of trades. I only had 2 trades for the year in plan ETF. That means nothing. You need at least 50 occurrences to come up with a good back test here to prove, or really a front test here to prove if this is working. And then plan M, this one has a much higher expectancy, but as of right now, that's where the plan is at. Not where I want to be, of course, but then again, we don't get to choose when we get paid through the market. The market will give us opportunities. The market will also do what it does, and there's nothing you can do, unfortunately, when a once in an ever move comes against you. I can do one more question, and then I got to get out of here. I'm meeting with a podcast that we're trying to sponsor. For those of you who don't know, we sponsor a few podcasts in the luxury watch space. I am a watch guy, and we've already started sponsoring 2 podcasts. We met with one yesterday, and we're meeting with another one here in a little bit. So I got to prepare for that. Question from Carl: rolling. Can you roll stocks instead of options by taking the profits off at the top? Totally different things. Totally different things here, right? So if you own a stock, you don't have the ability to take partial profits without closing a partial position. Okay. With an option, right? Let me jump into Tradier for an example here. So let's say that I bought SLV calls, right? And let's say that I started with the 65s. Okay. I bought the 65s. And let's say, for example, that it started at the 67 delta, just for example's sake. As it moves deeper in the money, let's say it goes $5 in the money, so we could go up to the 60 to represent that. That 67 delta is now 79 delta. Okay. So I could sell to close the 65s and then buy to open another one closer to at the money. Now I lose some deltas here, but I'm not taking off the position because I'm basically going back to the position where I started from. Okay, big difference here. If you close stock, every delta on here represents basically 1 share of stock. If you had 500 deltas and then you closed 20% of it, now you only have 400 deltas, right? If I started with 500 deltas and then I roll it back to 500 deltas, guess how many deltas I still have? I still have 500 deltas. And I now have money in my pocket, right? The difference here is 350. So I now have $350 per contract. And let's say that I paid $8 per contract. So 350 divided by 800 gets me. So I've taken off 43% of the risk on my first roll. Can't do that with stock. You still have risk, right? And then let's say that I do it again, right? So 350 plus 350, right? All right. And then we divide that by the original purchase price. That's 87%. So I've taken off 88% of my risk in this trade as it went up. Again, something you cannot do with stock. You know what I could do with that other money? Anything I want. So on that 700 per contract, I can do anything that I want. I can make more trades. I can go to Costco. I can do anything. I still have the trade on roughly at the same amount of deltas that I started the original trade with. And here we go. Let's say I roll it again for another 350. So 350 plus 350 plus 350, 1,050. Okay, cool. Now I paid 800 to start, which means I have guaranteed a 31% gain. Can't do that with stock. So it can go to 0. Silver could go to absolute 0. I'm still up by 31%. 31%, I should say. And 31% of 800 means about $250 as it goes to 0. Pretty cool, right? Rolling is one of the greatest ninja hacks of all time. And we have seen firsthand just how well it works and how you can take a stock that is down and still end up positive on the trade because you rolled as it was going up. So listen, this was great. Thank you so much for helping me out with my quarter point and community service today. But in reality, I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the great questions. I wish I could get to all of them, but I got other things I got to run into. You guys have a fantastic day. We'll talk soon. I'll see you this afternoon. Hang on, let's redo that. Birdie, let's do a better CTA. I did a terrible CTA at that. I didn't tell people to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. Click one of these 3 buttons and have a fantastic day. There we go. Let's go with that ending. All right, we'll talk soon. What song can I put in? Do we have a new song yet? Let's see. Oh, speaking of rolling, let's do it.
They see me rolling for credit. I keep the trade on, but take profits early. Don't take them profits early. Locking them profits early. I love them profits early. Don't take them profits early. Yeah. They watch me roll it, they doubt it. I keep the trade on, but take profits early. Don't take them profits early. Locking them profits early. I love them profits early. Don't take them profits early. Yeah. Checking my trade, look at check my stay clean. Exist hit, then I'm out that scene. If it still runs, like extend my green. Wrote it, ready, credit, they like hold up. Same pieces, but the wrist fold up. Extrinsic, low, yeah, price that. Paying hope, no, I don't buy that. Bitter don't come when it goes down. Loss was priced in when I rolled around. Tricks so boring, I still sweep sound. Disco loud with the math don't clown. Tribes on control, then they wanna see red. Waiting on mistakes that I never said. I took a win early, don't need full spread. One good trend, keep the account well fed. 10 millions of days when I act. Close of the day with the truth unpacked. They chase the tick, I ignore that noise. Follow my rules with will and poise. His court still gon' throw their toys. They watch me roll it, they got it. I keep the trade on, but take profits early. Don't take them profits early. Locking them profits early. I love them profits early. Don't take them profits early. Yeah. They see me rolling, they hate it. Cut them losers, but let wins run shorty. Don't let that gamma carry. I learned this hack from Larry. I love them profits early. Don't take them profits early. This age is close, you're real clean cut. The clean ain't smart if the edge still up. I don't roll pain, I don't roll lies. I roll the plane while I neutralize. Time costs money, I get paid to wait. Put it on the road, now I stop cost chase. If the rules say go, I let it ride. If the rules say no, I'm out no pride. They roll emotion, they roll regret. Same size, new date, more better debt. I trim exposure, reduce the heat. Same idea, but the risk gets beat. I trim exposure, reduce downside. Same idea, but the risk gets fried. They loud and chat when the shade bleed. Cry times when the profits breed. I don't need pics for a screenshot flex. I need consistency, boring checks. They see me rolling, they hate it. Cut them losers, but let wins run shorty. Don't let the gamma carry. I learned this tech from Larry. I love them profits early. Don't take them profits early. They see me rolling for credit. I keep the trade on, but take profits early. Don't take them profits early. Locking them profits early. I love them profits early. Don't take them profits early. They said they know when I should have bailed. After the move when the chalk done sailed. Eyesight lab, but the plan was clear. Sequence said stay, so I stayed right here. Check the mirror, markers at the sky. All still green, I ain't touching the lock. They think rolling means spear on show. Nines to 7, one more time, say so. Last time they say is avoiding loss. Loss was accepted before the cost. I don't argue with every kick that Brent's. I argue less to lose the bits. Now cruising, spring them long. Trade the speed, but the trend still goes. Demand gets upon, they dressed in tight. Boring wins, yeah, that's the life. They see me rolling for credit. I keep the trade on, but take profits early. Don't take them profits early. Locking them profits early. I love them profits early. Don't take them profits early. They watch me roll it, they doubt it. I keep the trade on, but take profits early. Don't take them profits early. Locking them profits early. I love them profits early. Don't take them profits early. They see me rolling, they hate it. Cut them losers, but let wins run shorty. Don't let the gamma carry. I learned this life from Larry. I love them profits early. Don't take them profits early.